British government is still recovering from yesterday's ruling in a Scottish court that suspension of Parliament is unlawful. The decision has put Prime Minister Boris Johnson under pressure to recall MPs. The case has been referred to the UK Supreme Court, where it will be heard on Tuesday. Euronews journalist Victoria Smith joins me now for more on this. How serious is it, Victoria, not only just for the Prime Minister, but also the British Constitution?
Well, very serious all round, Rosie. You see, Boris Johnson's now been told by 3 Scottish judges that what he's done may well or is unlawful. That means he may have put the Queen into a difficult position as well if he's been found to have given her unlawful advice. Now, the Queen always follows her Prime Minister's advice. She assumes it's correct. So this does raise questions now about the Constitution and how it works. Also, Rosie, I should mention the judges were unanimous that Boris Johnson was motivated by what they say were the improper purpose of stymieing Parliament.
A world champion in fake news. The Israeli Prime Minister takes to Facebook to discredit an Israeli journalist and the channel he works for broadcasting leaks to do with the corruption cases against the Prime Minister. Israeli media now reporting that the journalist has hired a bodyguard because of the anonymous threats he's received.
Netanyahu thinks that media is very important. He gives a lot of importance to the media, and he wants to shape the public opinion. He wants to influence, and he's obsessed, and he's panicked, he's terrified. You can never see that because he's a good actor. He never shows his fear, but this week we saw some signs of it because there was a recording that was leaked that he was screaming.
In a secret recording, Netanyahu can be heard screaming at his then communications minister, telling him to intervene in order to allow a sympathetic channel to broadcast news, something it had not been allowed to do before.
They quit their jobs to see the world, but on the paths less travelled. Now, that wanderlust for countries not in the brochures has landed a Perth couple in an Iranian jail. They recorded their adventures using an unlicensed drone, which has been viewed by Iran as criminal.
A beautiful, dangerous adventure captured on camera.
So hopefully we can find a camp spot there, we can chill out for the rest of the day.
When Perth couple Jolie King and Mark Firkin set out to see the world, they wanted others to see it too.
Can't get over it, it's blowing my mind. It's one place that you just have to come and see for yourself.
Starting a video blog to break stigma around countries that get a bad rap. But while in one of those countries, they landed in serious trouble.
3 Australians are being held in prison in Iran. The Australian government has been pressing the Iranian government for their release.
The couple was travelling from Perth to the UK, island hopping through Asia, driving west through India and Pakistan, before they were arrested near a military base close to Tehran.
Congress's independent watchdog is launching an investigation into President Trump's latest plan to seize private land to build barriers along the U.S.-Mexico border. CBS News has obtained a letter from the Government Accountability Office to Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. It's requesting to review matters relating to the Trump administration's efforts to exercise the power of eminent domain to build a wall on the southern border. CBS News reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez looked into this, and he joins me now from Washington. Camilo, thank you so much for joining us. Does the government have the authority to seize private property and turn it into public land?
The short answer to that is yes, Elaine. The federal government can take private land for public use as long as it offers the owners compensation. In fact, there is a clause in the 5th Amendment of the Constitution that says this can be done, but the government has to provide, quote unquote, just compensation to landowners.
Scientists say they have for the first time detected water in the atmosphere of an Earth-like planet. They say the discovery on the planet, known as K2-18b, is evidence that a key ingredient for life exists beyond our solar system. The bad news is we're unlikely to ever get there. It is so far away that it takes a century for light from the planet to reach Earth.
Now, with that amazing survival story caught on camera, a woman falling 50 feet down a waterfall in Hawaii and remarkably making it out alive. ABC's Gio Benitez is here with all of the details. Gio, good morning.
Hey, Amy, good morning. Just incredible. She was hiking a popular trail in Honolulu when she got too close to that edge of the waterfall and slipped.
This was the moment that could have changed everything for Heather Friesen, the 26-year-old fallen more than 50 feet down a Hawaiian waterfall. If you look again, you can see her body careen off nearly every rock on her way down. Struggling to get her head above water, submerged for about 20 seconds, you can hear Heather clearly in pain.
I couldn't breathe very well, and so I knew that something had to be wrong.
Now, after recovering from a collapsed lung, 10 broken ribs, and a fractured scapula, Heather sits down with GMA.
It's kind of that whole cliche, time slows down.
President Trump proposing a ban on the sale of most flavored e-cigarettes following hundreds of cases of vaping-related illnesses. Whit Johnson is here with more on that. Good morning, Whit.
Robin, good morning to you. The FDA reports e-cigarette use jumped 78% among high school students from 2017 to 2018. That staggering trend prompting the president and the first lady to take action as health officials continue to investigate what's making people sick.
We are looking at vaping very strongly. It's very dangerous. Children have died. People have died.
This morning, President Trump is launching a new vaping crackdown, encouraged by First Lady Melania, who in a tweet called e-cigarette use a growing epidemic. The president's proposal would put a ban on flavored e-cigarettes, often used by teens and young people.
Richard Ferrand, once again haunted by his past. On Wednesday, the leader of France's National Assembly spent over 12 hours being questioned at this tribunal in Lille. It ended with Ferrand being placed under formal investigation over financial improprieties linked to his position as director of a Brittany health insurance fund. The allegations date back to 2011 and include favoring his ex-wife and girlfriend with contracts and rental agreements and continuing to work in the fund's interests after being elected as an MP. When a previous investigation was launched in 2017, Ferrand was a minister in the new government of President Emmanuel Macron. Despite the backing of his boss and colleagues, Ferrand resigned his post amid the ensuing scandal. On Thursday, the government expressed its continued support.
Entire streets in Niger's capital, Niamey, are submerged. Heavy rain and floods proved too much for retaining walls along the Niger River. Across the country, more than 12,000 homes have been destroyed. Those who refuse to leave save what they can. Sandbags are filled to stop more water from flooding homes. A neighborhood watch keeps track of the river levels 24 hours a day.
Authorities had urged people who lived along the river to prepare for the floods, but many of us didn't know where we could go.
More than 130,000 people have been affected by the floods since June. Many displaced families are now living in schools, but it's unclear how long they'll be allowed to stay. They worry they won't have a home to go back to.
Some homes were flooded but haven't crumbled yet. In one day, about 250 houses were totally demolished. If the rain keeps coming, it will continue to destroy.
No schools and no playgrounds. And for Fatima and other children like her, no break from hardship and deprivation. Here in Idlib, in this refugee camp for Syrians displaced by the war, there is no start to the school year. But that's not stopping Fatima and her sisters from helping each other to get some of the education they have missed out on.
When I first started school, we had to leave because of the airstrikes and shelling. I studied till 4th grade, then the regime attacked our village again and we moved, and then I couldn't go to school. I wish I had and could become a doctor or a nurse. We need them to treat people here.
For many young Syrians, the war is their main memory of childhood, and it is one without schooling.
I was too young. I can't remember anything. I want to become a teacher so boys and girls can learn. I want to build hospitals and houses for the poor and the displaced.